Hello everyone and welcome back to another video that I'm gonna regret making. I apologize for the long hiatus, but like I mentioned in the previous video, this is a very random thing for me, and I'm not even sure how long it'll last. So for this video I thought since the new Loki series is around the corner, I'll basically just rehash an old breakdown I did for its first trailer way back when it was released. What I've basically done for now, since I'm a lazy bum, is taken my original breakdown and rephrased it accordingly. So, without further ado, let's talk about Loki.
Spoiler alert! Now,
we pick up right where we left off with Loki, that is, Avengers Endgame, where he escapes the events of Thor the Dark World in the future of the MCU by using the Tesseract because Hulk didn't like stairs.
Hold up! Wait a minute! Something ain't right!
Didn't Loki commit the dead when Butt Chin decided to go all neck snappy on him in Avengers Infinity War?
Yes, he did. To those confused, yes, Loki did die in Avengers Infinity War, but this is not the same Loki. This Loki is the Loki from the Avengers, as in the Loki from the year 2012. What this essentially means is that this variant of Loki did not die for a second time in Thor the Dark World, nor was he redeemed in Thor Ragnarok. Therefore, he did not die. This is a Loki from a different timeline. He has escaped using the Tesseract as we saw in Avengers Endgame. This show is about him there on out. The Loki we know and love who died in Avengers Infinity War is still dead.
These are confusing times.
Now that that's out of the way, the first bit of new footage that we see in this trailer was very reminiscent of Iron Man 2008, where Tony crashes his Mark I suit in the desert. Now I'm not sure whether this was intentional or not. Maybe it's a mirroring of a new persona where following this both decide to change their lives. I don't know, I don't write this stuff. Surprise appearance by Owen Wilson,
wow.
who is taking Loki into custody. Wilson's character knows Loki, and he calls him out on his bull. Says time works differently in the TVA. What is the TVA, you may ask? Now that's a very good question. The TVA in the comics is the Time Variance Authority. They're basically the bookkeepers of timelines and watch the space-time continuum to make sure events happen the way they're supposed to and that there is no major tampering. To simplify, they're the time cops.
Don't someone mess with time! You don't with time!
So we know now, but we did not know this at the time of the trailer's release, that Owen Wilson's character is called Mobius M. Mobius. What does the M in the middle stand for? Take a wild guess. I kind of find it ironically meta that Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston are in another time-jumping related piece, as they were also together in Midnight in Paris from 2011.
Wow!
The next few shots are TVA agents, who look like they're on a mission. Maybe looking for Loki, maybe maintaining timelines, I don't really know. Setting kinda looks similar to Vietnam. A hooded figure is implied as to being the antagonistic figure. No idea who that is. Loki is presented in front of a judge, maybe one of the justices from the comics, Justice Peace, Justice Love, Justice Goodwill. We get two shots at three figures. First in the form of three faces inside the court, and then outside the court as three statues. I'm not completely sure as to who these are, but maybe, and this is a stretch, all three together are the Living Tribunal. The Living Tribunal in the comics is essentially the overseer of the entire universe, and is oftentimes depicted as having three different faces. Something to sort of back up this theory is that in the trailer, we see the judge woman and some agents holding what look like glowing batons. In the movie Doctor Strange, Baron Mordo shows Stephen a wooden baton which he calls the Staff of the Living Tribunal, which has a similar orange energy like the batons held by these characters.
This is the staff of the Living Tribunal.
Next, we see Loki's life projected for him to look back on. However, if you notice, right before the Avengers arrest Loki group shot, the image Loki sees before, which is him with his arms open in a grand pose, is actually the Loki from Thor Ragnarok, an event that this Loki has never experienced. So what's likely the case here is that Owen Wilson's Mobius is showing this Loki how his life would have played out had events taken place the way they were supposed to, which is basically everything that the main Loki did in the main MCU timeline. I like to think that Loki turning his head away in annoyance from the projected screen is him witnessing his own death at the hands of Thanos. His facial expressions seem to show anger, disgust, and embarrassment. Or maybe I'm just crazy and reading too much into it. Who knows? I'm gonna be really frank with you, the next few shots I don't get at all. But we see the same hooded figure from before watching the TVA agents in the supermarket, which seems to be set in the future. One thing that caught my eye upon the second viewing of the trailer is a scene where Mobius is handed something by a little girl. I have no idea who this kid is, but in the background there is a glass painting of a devil-like figure. MEPHISTO is basically Marvel's devil incarnate. He is also the guy with whom Johnny Blaze makes a deal and becomes a Ghost Rider. Maybe it's him, I'm not sure. WandaVision toyed a lot with the idea of having Mephisto as the big bad, but I don't even want to get into it because that show teased it so much, there were so many hints that could be a whole video of its own. Next, we see a purple-hued planet surface with a destroyed moon entering the orbit. We also see a woman who to me looks exactly like Natasha Romanoff. Am I crazy? Maybe this planet is Vormir. Is Natasha like a new guardian of the Soul Stone or something? Who knows? It's likely though that this isn't Natasha. Maybe someone else. One major possibility as to this person's identity is that this is Lady Loki, who is basically a gender bend Loki. Loki in the comic books is a very gender fluid character, so it'll be very interesting to see that play out on screen. Next, we see Loki in what appears to be a destroyed New York City. We can set this in time as the Avengers Tower in the back is clearly from before Spider-Man Far From Home, because in that film we saw that it was redesigned into something new. Perhaps this is an alternate time where the Battle of New York was lost by the Avengers, and we see Loki witnessing what his glorious empire to rule would have become. Okay, so this trailer had 3 moments that basically had me squealing in joy, and they all take place in approximately the last minute. Number 1, Loki is D.B. Cooper. D.B. Cooper was this mysterious man from the 60s who hijacked an airplane and demanded money for ransom. After which, he proceeded to jump out of said airplane with the money, but without a parachute. He was never found. The only thing recovered were a few banknotes at the bottom of a river near where the plane was flying. We don't know who he was, nor what he wanted or where he came from. There's no record of him, not even photographs. The only thing we have is a rough sketch showing us what he may have looked like. I love the fact that this show is taking real life strange occurrences from human history and tying it into the MCU by explaining it away and saying, oh yeah, that was probably Loki. Loki is D.B. Cooper. He jumps out of an airplane, and his disappearance is due to the fact that Heimdall transports him using the Bifrost halfway through the air, leaving behind only a few banknotes. Same banknotes that were recovered from the river. In terms of Heimdall, yes, he is also dead in current community. He also died in Infinity War. But as I explained for Loki before, this Heimdall is from the past. So there you go. This is a different Heimdall. Loki's new look is exactly the same as the cover illustration by Langdon Faust for when Loki decides to run for president of the United States. I personally love this look, especially the more modest yet traditional horned helmet. One final thing that really gave me a kick in my nerd culture bowels takes place in the same scene as President Loki and is also tied to a real-life conspiracy theory from our own human history. In the background of President Loki's shot, we can see an arcade cabinet for the game Polybius. We know now that Polybius never existed, it was basically an internet urban legend, but it's still pretty relevant. A mysterious arcade cabinet rumored to have been installed by the CIA that caused seizures and madness in players, which was one day taken away by Men in Black. Supposedly only one cabinet ever existed and it's been never seen again. So like I said, Marvel is cleverly using real life oddities and strange occurrences in our human history to tie Loki to our timeline. So there you have it, that's all I got from the trailer. I know I'm really late, I mean there's a bunch of other breakdowns and stuff that a lot of more qualified people have done. I thought, why not just turn it into a video? I mean, I'm late, but at least someone who hasn't seen it might learn something from it. That being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. What do you think of the new Loki series? Is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be bad? Are you excited for it? Let me know. I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video, and if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do so. And you can press the little bell icon at the bottom there so that you can be notified for any new videos that I might post. If I post, I don't know. Like I said, this is very random. If I'm in the mood, I'll do it. If I'm not, then I won't. I guess that's it. Bye now. Oh yeah, one more thing. I almost forgot. For the latest entertainment news and updates on future videos, you can follow the official Caffeinated Analysis pages on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'll link them in the description below. Cheers. Bye.